Good morning, everyone. I am Kenneth John P. Sandian, and you may call me Sir Ken, and I will be your teacher for today. For today, I will be discussing to you the four macro skills. But before anything else, let's have a self-introduction. So, I will give you 1 minute to prepare, and after that, I will call you one by one to introduce yourself in front of the class. You may use whatever you need. You may write it down and then you can just read it later as you introduce yourself. So since we're done with the introduction, some of you may unknowingly use the four macro skills while introducing yourself. So the four macro skills includes listening, writing, reading, and speaking. So self-introduction is an activity that has been specially designed to incorporate several language skills simultaneously, which are the four macro skills, as I have mentioned earlier, and provides the students with the situations that allow for well-rounded development and progress in all areas of language learning. So what are the four macro skills? So when we are learning a language, there are four skills that we need to complete the communication process. When we learn our native language, we usually learn to listen first, then to speak, then to read, and finally to write. Then we call those four language skills the macro skills, which are the listening, speaking, reading, and writing. So students, after discussing each of the four macro skills, there will be consequent activities for each, and hopefully every one of you will cooperate. So first, we have listening. Listening is the most important skill in communication. This is a communicative skill that requires the listener to understand, interpret, and evaluate what he or she hears. So for our first activity for the listening, I want every one of you to find a pair and write a dialogue. So here's what you should do. When student A is speaking, student B should write what he or she is writing and then vice versa. When you are finished with your conversation, you will check what each other has written and put the two sides of the conversation together. Then, the students will perform the dialogues again to the rest of the class. Alright, so I will give you 5 minutes to finish that, and after 5 minutes, you will perform the dialogue in front of the class. Alright? Your 5 minutes starts now. Alright, so we will be doing another activity again for you to exercise your skill in listening. Alright, so first I will divide the class into two groups. Please, Mr. Cruz, start the count off from 1 and 2. Let me now start. Okay, for the group 1, you sit here on my right, and for the group 2, you sit here on the left. Alright, so I will be reading to you a passage from the story of Romeo and Juliet. And then I will read it to you once again to see if you really did listen. So, each time I make a change or a change is read out, I want every one of you or I want everyone in your team to stand up. So, in this game, the winner will have, or the one or the team who got the higher points will be the winner. So, let's start. Alright, so that ends our activity for listening, with group 1 being the winner, garnering 5 points, and followed by the group 2, which only gathered 4 points. So better luck next time, group 2, alright? So, as you have observed, this activity really needs or really requires you to listen carefully, and will also encourage you to remember important information and details about the passage, or even when we are talking to someone, you really need to listen carefully to what you're. Alright, so the second macro skill is speaking. Speaking is the delivery of language through the mouth. To speak We create sounds using many parts of our body, including the lungs, vocal tract, vocal cords, tongue, teeth, and lips. So in language learning, speaking is usually the second language skill to learn. This vocalized form of language usually requires at least one listener. When two or more people are speaking or talking to each other, the conversation is called dialogue. Speech can flow naturally from one person to another in form of dialogue. It can also be planned, rehearsed, as in the delivery of a speech or the presentation. And speaking of speeches, for our next activity, I want you all to do an extemporaneous speaking. So I will be giving you topics in which you will be making your extemporaneous speaking about. So these are the topics. First, we have the child labor. Second, this is child abortion. Third, corruption, drug addiction, extrajudicial killings, and political dynasty. So, alright, let's start. Our third macro skill is reading. It is a process of taking sense or meaning of a letter, symbol, especially by touch or sight. So for us educators and researchers, reading is a multi-phase process including such areas as word recognition, orthography or spellings, alphabets, phonetics, phonemic awareness, vocabulary, comprehension, and motivation. Alright, so one of the activity that will enhance our reading skill is mimicking or by following after me strategy. Also, we have the audiolingual method or the ALM. It is a method of teaching where the emphasis is on learning is about the grammatical and the phonological structures, especially for speaking, listening, and reading. So we have here the link for a further discussion about the ALM. So let's play it. Alright, for the last of the four macro skill, we have the writing. Writing is a medium of human communication that includes the representation of a language through a system of physically inscribed, mechanically transferred, or digitally represented symbols. So, for our final activity today, I want everyone to write their reflection paper about their discussion for today and what they have learned about the four macro skills. So write it in a one whole sheet of paper, and it should be a minimum of 100 words and a maximum of 300 words. Alright? So your time starts now, and after 10 minutes I will be collecting your paper. Alright. Alright, so that concludes our topic for this day. And as a conclusion, through daily activities, teachers provide learners with opportunities to develop each skill. So the students listen by having the teachers use the target language, listening to a song, or to one another in a pair activity. The students speak pronunciation practices, greetings, dialogues, creation or recitations, songs, substitution drills, oral speed reading, and role play. Students read instructions, written grammar drills, cards for playing games and flashcards, and write fill-in-the-blank sheets, sentences, dialogue script, journal entry, and reflection paper. So this approach incorporates the class discussion with the four macro skills so that they can be used together to reach a language development that is well-rounded. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.